You are watching the number one podcast in the whole entire youth wrestling community, and I'm your host, Wanzo.
And I'm your other host, Jean Paul Lag.
And together we are Robbery. How's every single one of you, family? Welcome to the NXT 2.0 War Games 2021 review, results, analysis, everything we're going to be talking about this show. And, it was a show that has a lot of different things. No Undisputed Era for the first time since War Games really started. Also, maybe, Paul, the farewell, the swang song for Johnny Gargano, Kyle O'Reilly. A lot of things happened. The old school against the new school. So, tell me, overall, did you like it? Maybe different results? What were your thoughts?
I think if you took everybody that was a 2.0 person and maybe replace them, or maybe not ever, but replace most of them with people we actually know and care about and, want to see on our television, this would have been a pretty good pay-per-view. But a lot of the stuff, for me personally, I just didn't care about most of the matchups because I didn't care about the superstars involved. The matches themselves might have been good and everything. And this was a pretty decent, showing. It was better than I thought it was going to be.
Yes.
All the new talent involved. Was it still a fantastic must-watch show? I don't know if I would go that far, but it did do better than I thought. But again, most of the matchups featured a lot of people I didn't care about, so that was unfortunate.
Or new people, so yeah. So thank you so very much for being with us, family. We love you, we appreciate you. Thank you for always supporting us. You guys are the ones that allow us to keep doing this. Don't forget the support and love for like the NXT UK review, because Ilya Dragunov, in a very weird way, due to an injury of Rampage Brown, he survives and he remains the NXT UK champion. Paul, we wanted like a matchup like this, but like the ending was very confusing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted them to keep the series going. I didn't want to just be Rampage Brown one and done. But, I don't know if I would have did it the way they did it. Like I said, unless it was an injury that took place earlier in the match and they were like, oh, how do we get out of this? I mean, I really don't know. But, to hear our thoughts, because we go in depth about what happened and everything. And on the rest of the show, go check out the review.
Exactly. So let's start, Paul, with like the first match. And that's, the NXT War Games match in the women, Cora Jade, Kaylee Ray, Raquel Gonzalez, Io Shirai against Toxic Attraction and also Dakota Kai. You said that this was going to open, and they did it the same way as every War Games, just because the women, they closed the show 2 years ago. It was the first time that they had women's War Games. But, here in this case, it's just we've seen it before. And, I mean, the rules are the same. Two teams against each other. After 5 minutes, the member from the advantage team will re-release and all of that. The one thing that it was different, they didn't have cages. The cages were located in different spots, not, right next to, like, the entrances. So I thought that, like, they changed it a little bit. They gave them a new vibe. And, but I think that, like, the match overall was, like, pretty decent at most. Never took off for me. But, like, one thing, Kaylee Ray against Dakota Kai, that was the beginning. The spot with, like, the candlesticks. I feel, it wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't the worst. I think I was hoping that it was going to be a lot worse than what actually was.
Yeah, I mean, to comment on all the spots is, nobody really got hurt or anything, which, I mean, at least from what we could see. So that was good. This match I was a little more worried about than the one with the men, just because a lot of these women weren't ever in, like a hardcore match like this, and you're not starting them off small. You're in War Games. This is, the biggest one you can really do in WWE. And I mean, I didn't care for the spots like that. You see Kaylee Ray is the bat, then Dakota Kai comes in with like 10 kendo sticks, and it's like you don't start off using that stuff. You build to it to make it feel special. When you start off swinging kendo sticks and everything, then how can kendo sticks be exciting for the rest of the show? They're really not. But eventually, everybody came in, and I mean, it just becomes a clusterfuck. I mean, we're first really starting to get to know a lot of these women, like the Cora Jades and the Gigi Dolans and the JC Janes, and then we see them in a hardcore match. And I can't, even if this match was filled with Bret Hart's, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, people who I care about, I can't follow it because it's 8 people. You know what I mean? And the action's all over the place and everything, and then the big spot that like I almost thought was real, but then when they show the replay, I'm like, unless
the Io thing, right? Like when she injures the arm.
When Cora Jade does like the elbow or does like some kind of dive off the top of the cage, knocks Josie Jane through a table, she sells the arm like, oh my God, it's done. And then they showed the replay and I'm like, okay, this got to be a work because because I'm like, they would have came in, they would have done something if this was real, and also I'm like, she didn't even hit anything, when they showed
and also, Io putting the arm, like, putting in his place, really, that tells you that it wasn't, it was only a work.
But I mean, I'm unless you want to, I'm not going to go through every spot and everything in this match, this and that.
Oh no, like just saying, it had like decent moments, like you said. Dakota Kai, of course, he's never won any war games, anything like that. But at least, in this case, she looks decent. And a Toxic Attraction, I will say maybe Gigi look a little better. Mandy Rose, not too much. She's like, you clearly see that she's gonna have a feud with Cora Jade, because at the end, Cora Jade is the one that like gets the pin over like Jessie Jade, I think it was.
That's my biggest problem with this match. I thought, okay, the baby faces were all kind of taken out, whatever. You saw Cora Jade, she was beat up. Mandy Rose was like, oh, you're
She kicks out of like Mandy Rose like the knee strike, so that was bad.
Yeah, they're really pushing her, and that's, okay, yeah, she's cute, and she's not the world's worst wrestler, but I don't think this is going to move the needle. Maybe it moves Vince's old needle, but I don't think it's going to move the needle in terms of viewership and ratings and everything. So, bad decision there, and it's just setting up a title feud. And the reason why it sucks is I knew we were going to see the same thing in the main event in the men's board game match, and that's exactly what we saw.
Yes, it is true. Like, they're really pushing the new generation. They're really like pushing down. They're really telling us, okay, the old is the past.
But it's really, you got to have your challenger pin the champion to earn their shot
to end the match.
It's such shit.
It's the booking on the way that you get to the championship match makes no sense. So that's something that they need to really improve. And like you said, they overshadowing or they're even overlooking Io Shirai, because I thought that Io Shirai was going to be the first challenger for Mandy Rose. No, it seems to be Cora Jade. Kaylee Ray, another one that's going to be overlooked. So that's, in the end, these girls get the win. Raquel, I think that she needs her call up to the main roster because her time on NXT, is done. Kaylee Ray, we'll see what she can do. Unfortunately for me, she doesn't feel half of what she was able to feel and also like give me when it was on NXT UK. But that was the end of like that match. Boa, nobody cares, he can be red, he can be white, he can be any type of guy. Mayhem. This is not good because every time I see Boa, I remember Raquel Gonzalez just beating the shit out of him. Who cares? Not me, not Jean Paul. There you go. Let's go to like the guys from like the black and gold, team, and they're actually getting ready. And this to me is like the swan song, like Tommaso Ciampa put on Twitter. Hey, this is the last time that I share a ring with you. Thank you for everything, because it seems Johnny Gargano is gonna like just wait till his contract is over. He signed an extension just to be part of like the War Games. We'll see if like the same thing happened that what Adam Cole did. But it seems to me that like everybody's just saying that Johnny Gargano, thank you for everything, and we'll see him on AEW pretty soon, Paul. So, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I like that promo. It was good, and it's one of the things where when we, I don't want to say we didn't appreciate those four guys, but when we saw them in a room, and then we see everybody else that's on the show, it's like, man, you really don't want any of those four.
You really know that you are downgraded. Absolutely, you're right. I agree, because see, these guys, like you said, put NXT. LA Knight, no, but like the other three, they put NXT on the map. No, we gotta be honest here. LA Knight is legit. We love him.
Was there. If he was there for the last 5 years, he would have been one of the guys.
I agree with you. But like at least Pete Dunne, the matches that he had Tyler Bate, all the matches with Adam Cole, rivalries with Ciampa, with Gargano, all of it. Gargano and Ciampa, of course, are the best rivalry that NXT ever had. Like two best friends going at it. Remember the match, even like in the outside and in that building, and when like Gargano turned heel and all of that.
Yeah, and then with tag teams, the Revival,
the Revival, of FTR, exactly. So like good stuff. So let's talking about tag teams. Let's go to the championship match. What do you think about this? Because another one, Kyle O'Reilly seems like he's gonna wait till his time is up, his contract, so he can go to AEW, because so many references from Adam Cole and Bobby Fish of the Undisputed Era. And in this match, actually, they give us a pretty good show. They give us like 15 minutes of good tag team action. So what do you think?
Yeah, Kyle O'Reilly is such a stud. The guy's so good at wrestling. You saw this match. This was great. Wagner's not bad for his size. You don't expect the guy to be agile. You don't expect him to be, smooth or anything. But, he's big. He's strong. I'd say he's more athletic than he would probably let on for his size and everything. And, Bartel and Eichner, they're so great as well. So I enjoyed this. I thought Eichner looked like a star in this thing.
Yeah.
Whether, just him and O'Reilly constantly going at it and everything. This was good. Like you said, O'Reilly, You want to look, maybe look into this too much, or but I think the writing's all on the wall when he's doing the Undisputed Era hand
You
sign
caught
thing.
on to it. Thank you, because I have the picture of it. There you go.
And I love when they hit the high. Well, that was after the match, really. But I love when he hit the high low. On I think they hit it on Bartel.
On Bartel. Bartel.
They hit the high low, or so the his old finish with Bobby Fish, that was good. But no, that wasn't the pinfall. And eventually he had Eichner kind of in that octopus hold, and he powered him up, lifted it up. It ended up being a big European uppercut bomb. 1, 2, 3. They pinned him. Good tag match. I had no real problem with the match itself. And afterwards, and when that, I almost thought, I don't know how you felt, there was a couple times that I really thought they were going to put the belts on these guys. I thought maybe
they seemed to him.
I'm like, maybe they somehow promised O'Reilly the world. They re-signed him, and they're like, okay, you're the champ. We have you for 3 more years. Thank you. I don't know, but no.
Actually, that's what I thought. I thought that like the result of this match would determine whether Kyle O'Reilly stays or not. But with this one, he's getting the fuck out.
Yeah, but as soon as he ate that pinfall, I was like, okay, he's out of here. They're going to use him till it's over. He attacks Wagner. You see this, the Undisputed Era. And maybe him and Wagner will have a match or two, and eventually, then I think he'll be out the door.
He challenged him for a match on Tuesday, so we're going to see, Wagner against him. So like you said, it's just too late. Like I think, like he deserved more opportunities. Meaning, like the match with Adam Cole didn't turn into anything. Like you said, he went into like Bruno Mars. He became Orange Cassidy. He was never like the guy that he should have been. After all the guys from the Undisputed Era leaving,
the only way he really would have stayed is if he would have been that guy when Joe had to relinquish the belt. If he would have,
it would have been him.
Yeah,
it would have been him. So it wasn't. It didn't happen that way. So let's go with Santos Escobar, Paul, because he's gonna go against Zion Quinn. Who the hell cares about this? Santos Escobar and the Legado del Fantasma were one of like the most promising stables in the WWE. NXT, they never got to that main event status. I don't know why. But now, they feel trashy. For me, I don't care. Especially when Elektra Lopez, she says, like, they ask her, oh, but you met Zion Quinn, right? Zion Quinn. And it's like, oh, yeah, but I don't need to tell you about it. So they're pretty much, they said that they're banging or whatever. I don't care about any of this. And Santos Escobar is like, whatever,
I'm a grown-ass woman. I don't need to tell you what I do. Well, you know what? I'm a grown-ass man, and I can change the channel and not watch this garbage show if I want to.
Yeah, exactly. So, no, I don't care. No, this was not good. This match is going to be, for me, unimportant, because Santos Escobar needs to go for titles. That's what the Legado del Fantasma is. It's not a guy that feuds. He was already Cruiserweight champion. Paul, they said that like the Cruiserweight championship is going to go away. They're thinking that because nobody cares about it. And only Roderick Strong cares about it. So let's talk about before that. Let's talk about the hair versus hair. This was a decent at most. For me, we knew that like he was going to win. That like Cameron Grimes was going to actually get the win, because there was no way that Duke Hudson was going to win over this, because hair versus hair. I didn't care too much about it. He didn't even do the cave-in. It was actually a pretty good interaction between the two, but in the end, like this major like pinning combination, and that was it. I didn't care for it, and then he gets like Hudson gets like his haircut. But now, what do you do with Cameron Grimes? That's my biggest issue. He should be going against Carmelo Hayes for that North American Championship. To me, this should signify something, not just like get your hair.
Well, yeah, I mean, I really think he has to. He needs to, and God, he should. Because, I mean, if you're not going to push this guy to the main event, because we know what the main event, we know who the chosen child, it's like a new Roman Reigns, a new chosen one has been, deemed by God himself, Vince McMahon, or whoever, to be champion. We already know who that is. So Cameron Grimes' next best thing would be North American Championship, right? I mean, he has to be the one to beat Carmelo Hayes, because Carmelo Hayes, when you say North American Championship, you almost have to think who the champion is. Is it it's Carmelo Hayes. He's such an afterthought as a champion. If anything, it should be Roderick Strong. They should switch the belts. And I've said that before, but Roderick Strong should be the North American champion, because give me Roderick Strong versus Cameron Grimes. Give me that all day. Give me that all day. I'll watch that. But this match, it wasn't bad. It wasn't insulting. You have an old classic gimmick. People can enjoy, the hair versus hair. People enjoy that. But again, it's with somebody in Duke Hudson who's relatively new. We've seen you change up and tweak his gimmick multiple times in his short stint here with WWE. How am I supposed to care about the guy?
Oh yeah, no, it wasn't what we wanted, and exactly like this is what we have for NXT, the War Games or like even Takeover. So this is, it was just a part of the show that like we didn't really care for.
This is just NXT 2.0. This is
it feels really, really, boring and interesting. Yeah, exactly. So, and like I said, no Cruiserweight Championship. This was also that. I would say maybe Gacy's best match till date. We don't know a lot about it. His character is very confusing.
Wrong for that one.
Yeah, and then we got to do it. But at least, in this match, at least he has kind of like a wrestling gear. Not like the stupid shirt or anything. But, in the end, we knew that like Roderick Strong was going to get the win because he's just the credible champion here. And he's the only member of the Undisputed Era that they probably don't want to go to AEW. So, in the end, we got to see this interaction with like Harlan also and Evie Nile. So he was like, "Oh, put her down." You see that like he's still kind of like that wants to portray that like camaraderie between people. He wants to just, he like everybody to follow him. He wants this like everybody to just turn to him to keep the cult, but that allowed Roderick Strong to get that high jumping knee and then like his finisher move, and that's it, and they get the win. He keeps the championship. Who cares? This was never, the title was never at stake. It was never in danger. So, I mean, hey, they needed matches. Let's put these two guys, put in a championship match. That's all we had.
Yeah, and like you said, especially the fact that this match was booked and Joe Gacy clearly wasn't under the weight, and they said that they didn't care because they just wanted Roderick Strong to have a good match. This is Malcolm Bivens talking. They didn't care that he was over the weight, just wanted to have the match. And, I mean, that just proves, like you said, they don't really care about the Cruiserweight division. And, but at least they still want Roderick Strong to be on the pay-per-view and have a match. So, I mean, at least that's a plus. But, no, I mean, the match was okay. It could have been on TV. NXT TV on Tuesday didn't need to be on War Games here. And, that's pretty much it.
Exactly.
It was what it was.
Exactly. So, like, don't forget, family. Like, it's gonna be in like 2 to 3 weeks at most. It's gonna be Tuesday, January 4th. It's gonna be New Year's Evil. Like, they're gonna keep doing this idea. So, I mean, they're keeping some of the initiatives that Triple H, Shawn Michaels, they started to just bring more attention, more eyes to the, to the product. So, don't forget, we will have that live, that review with you guys. And let's do, like the main event. There's the NXT War Games, the Black and Gold, team against the NXT 2.0 team. What did you think about this? Because to me, Johnny Gargano comes out to his old theme song, so everything is signifying that he probably, like, his time is up in the WWE. I think he's saying goodbye to this. But aside of that, the match was, like you said, decent. It wasn't like the previous War Games that we've seen before. No blood, no really great spots or anything. But at least we know what with the guys that we had, it was pretty decent.
Yeah, I mean, and I gotta say, Johnny Gargano, Pete Dunne, to me, they were the star. Those two guys right here in this picture, they're like, who, us? Yeah, you two guys. They to me were the stars of this thing. Especially Johnny, like you said, they were kind of setting it up for like, this is Johnny's big show. He started this thing. It was him and Carmelo. Then we saw Grayson Waller came in because the heels had the advantage. And, then he was really selling for these guys. He got a little bit of color, nothing too crazy, but he got a little bit. Like you said, Dexter Lumis kind of comes out. And then I almost thought he was going to come out again later, kind of help even the odds and everything. Unfortunately, he didn't because I wanted Team Black and Gold to win. But then, Pete Dunne came out, evened everything up. Then we saw who came out of
Braun Breaker or D'Angelo,
then Breaker, Ciampa. I mean, this thing was good, better than I thought. Considering a lot of the new guys, D'Angelo. That's the thing I hate most about NXT 2.0. Not that you bring in these new guys, because I'm sure some of them were just told, hey, you're athletic, here's millions of dollars, why don't you train to be a wrestler? But I'm sure a lot of them watched wrestling growing up. They love it. This is not just, this is my dream, but this is what I want to do. I want to be in this business. I want to leave a positive impact on it. And then you're told, you have to be a mobster who works in the docks of New York. Or like you have to be a poker player, or you have to be, this guy or that guy. Nobody can just be legit. So that's what unfortunately kills a lot of these guys, their gimmick. But anyway, the wrestling ability, was pretty good with these guys in this match. I thought they did good. LA Knight, he was another one too. He looked good. I mean, everybody I thought really looked good in this. You had Waller, he jumped off the top, he took Knight.
That was a good spot.
But the one spot I really liked at the end, when you have everybody in there, they're just beating everybody up. There it is, DIY. They do their signature, kind of like rising knee strike, super kick. and then they go to pin him, and the ref counts 1, 2, and then but no, Carmelo Hayes pulls. He breaks the pin up. He kind of just pulls the ref, and then. See, that's when I thought maybe Loomis was going to come back in, something like that again. And, they were going to do, maybe Ciampa was going to hit a fairy tale ending on Breaker. But he actually picks him up. He picks up Carmelo Hayes, goes to do one on him. Breaker spears him through the table, picks him up, big slam he does, kind of like a gorilla press slam, holds him up there forever, then brings him down, power slam, whatever you want to call it. 1, 2, 3. We see Team 2.0 win. And it's the same thing, unfortunately, like the women's match. Now, the women it was heels versus baby faces instead of new versus old. But in this, it was just done the same way in the sense where the younger competitor pins the champion to set up a championship match. So that's the only.
And you did say that's what was going to happen, though. You did predicted it. You did say, maybe you said Breaker's going to pin Ciampa, and they will say, okay, well, the next time we see each other is going to be for the title one more time. So and then he'll win it. He'll win it, and then Ciampa also will be like, okay, fairy tale ending for you because you're going to have to leave. In the end, like you said, I mean, the new or the future is beating up the old on the past. So are we happy with it? Probably no. This is probably the worst war games that we've seen, and so far in this 4-5 years that they had this pay-per-view or this show. But this is the new tendency. This is the new trend.
And I would agree. I would agree with you on that, but not as bad as I thought this was going to be.
Yeah.
If I had to give this a prediction out of 10, now I don't know what I rated. I don't think I rated previous war games out of 10, but for this one, if I had to tell you what I thought it was going to be going into it, I'd have said probably like a 3.5 or a 4. And I think watching it now, I'll probably give you like a 5.5.
Yeah.
Or
I wasn't too, like you said, I wasn't too offended by it, no?
Yeah.
Even the women's match, like you said, it wasn't as bad as it could have been. We thought there was going to be a lot worse because of the lack of experience. It turns out to be decent, so that's what I did. So family, this is the review for NXT TakeOver War Games. Thank you so much. Don't forget to please, to the new people, like you said, the future, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and also help us with a like you do with all the rest of the videos, so more people are exposed to us. And where else can they find us, Paul?
And then make sure you follow us, Rope Break on Facebook, the OG Rope Break on Twitter, Original Rope Break on Instagram, Twitch, and TikTok, and of course right here on YouTube, the home of the #1 podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, the Original Rope Break.
And you and me have one more thing that is left to say, and that is...